And this was one of the challenges, I'd say rather a gap that businesses faced, a challenge on how to create a system, how do they protect their data. Nobody knows what happens during transit.
Yeah.
So there's very limited control that businesses have once the material leaves their.
BNI Champions Podcast, igniting minds, empowering businesses.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the BNI Champions podcast. I am your host, Nilesh Karani. Over the next few weeks, we will do a deep dive into the lives and businesses of the entrepreneurs who are a part of BNI Champions in Dubai, who have created a niche with their products and services in the market. BNI Champions Dubai is a 8-year-old chapter with 85 plus members strong and has had the highest seat value in this region for a longest time. Enjoy the podcast. Thank you.
Here's some messages from our sponsors. Every stitch tells a story. Every step echoes legacy. When craftsman meets elegance, confidence follows. Dress yourself in the luxury of 100-hand shirt, paired impeccably with custom handcrafted shoes from Kings. Because excellence isn't just worn, it's lived. Kings, where your legacy begins. Visit www.kingtraders.com for more details. Du jour, your trusted partner in navigating the complexities of corporate law. A full-service business law firm committed to helping companies, entrepreneurs, and institutions make smarter decisions, manage risk, and seize opportunity. From mergers and acquisitions, compliance and intellectual property, to employment law and beyond. Visit www.de-jour.me for details.
So, the first guest I have today, his name is Rijo Ilyas. He is the founder of Endoshred, and he has a unique story to share with us. Thank you, Rijo, for joining us. And tell us something about yourself and how you came to Dubai and how did this all start for you?
First of all, thank you so much, Nilesh, for having me here. I really appreciate the initiative that you've taken towards this podcast and supporting business members in the chapter. So great job at that.
Thank you.
Coming back to your question, a little bit about myself. I grew up here in Dubai. I've been here since I was one. I graduated from school, went to India for my bachelor's degree and came back here. Started my first job when I was 24. And then it was in 2013 when I took on that initiative to step into the world of entrepreneurship. Started my first business in the year 2013, and that was a marketing and brand activation agency called Meld Events. It's only in 2016 that I identified a specific, very niche gap in this business that we're going to talk about. And we started the business in 2016 and has been on the rise since.
Okay. So, so the business that you're talking about is Endoshred, right? I assume that.
Yes.
Okay. And out of the plethora of options that are available on businesses, why shredding business? What is that gap that you saw?
Well, that's a great question that so many people have asked me about. Shredding is not really, if you look at it from the outside world, it's not really a very exciting activity or a business model. Not just that, it's very niche. Not a lot of people have really heard about this business model in the first place. But what really got me into this business is when I understood or identified a gap in the market. Now, one thing is there's a lot going on in today's business world about data protection. Information is key. Any business thrives on information. And it is also important that businesses should handle this information responsibly. There's a lot going on data security, data protection. And this was one of the challenges, I'd say rather a gap that businesses faced, a challenge on how to create a system, how do they protect their data. Regulations are there, yes, but how to comply with data protection. And this is the gap that I really identified, especially with my market research. I found that a lot of businesses would, when you talk about document handling, Companies go to great lengths to handle their confidential information when they are in use. But what happens after their purpose is fulfilled? That's where companies face a challenge about secure disposal as well, which is equally important as the way they use the documents when it is actually being in use. Many businesses they destroy their confidential documents using office shredding machines. They do it in house. But again, you and I know how annoying it is for us to stand in front of a shredding machine and feed papers, small batch at a time, which takes forever to get done.
True.
And more importantly, that from an employee standpoint, uh, they have this mindset generally that they're not getting paid to shred their documents. There's a much more value that they could bring in, and nobody likes to do it. Now, from a management's perspective, the biggest challenge is monitoring. Now, well, they can roll out a policy such as a shred all policy, which most businesses follow, where every employee is required to shred their own documents after their purpose is fulfilled. But how does the management really ensure that the documents are actually being shredded? Where is that monitoring mechanism? And that is the gap that I really identified. I understood that businesses are facing, and we brought up with a solution uh, where we could help businesses uh, fulfill or achieve all of these challenges and get everything done in peace of mind.
Okay, nice. So, is this something that you are unique in Dubai, for example, or are there many other agencies who are doing something similar to what you do?
Well, so the concept of document destruction is not unique. It's just that it's newer in the Middle East
Right.
because it's a new concept. But in the West, it has been there for decades.
Okay.
Because data security has been a huge element in the West, which is today in the Middle East in the last, I'd say in the last 20 years, has been of great significance in the Middle East, and initiatives have been rampant by the government as well towards data protection in line with the rest of the world. So, to answer your question, is it really new in globally? Not yet, not really. But in the Middle East, yes, it's a newer niche business model, which is also the reason why today, as we speak, there's only 3 companies in the UAE that offers this service to businesses here.
Okay, only 3 companies you said.
Yes, us being the third.
Okay. So, okay, keeping that in mind, what is your differentiator? What is it that you bring to the table, which is different from the other two? Just for us to understand, your proposition and understand, what you bring to the table from a trust perspective or integrity perspective.
Right.
Yeah.
So, going back to the discussion we had earlier on the challenges that businesses will be facing, how we fill that gap is that by offering trustworthy on-site document and media destruction solutions to businesses. So that, in a nutshell, sums up on what we do. Is Endoshred is primarily a security company that helps businesses destroy their confidential information once their purpose has been fulfilled. The information could be in the format of physical documents, or it could even be electronic media such as hard drives, media tapes, USBs, CDs, VHS cassettes, etc. So everything is done. Our USP, so to say, is that every destruction happens on site, right in front of the client for them to witness on their premises. So that is our USP, how we differentiate ourselves from the solution itself. There are other options where other businesses offer services such as offsite shredding, where they take these material outside of their premises to some other place and have it all destroyed there. But again, the challenge is not still met. The solution to the challenge is still not met, where peace of mind. When nobody has any control once the material or the information leaves their premises or leaves their site. Nobody knows where it goes. Nobody knows what happens during transit.
Right.
So there's very limited control that businesses have once the material leaves their site. And this is the challenge that the gap that we bridge,
Mm.
where we ensure clients that everything happens right in front of them. Now, how we do that is we have industrial grade mobile destruction trucks. These are heavy duty machines built in with industrial mobile shredding machines that's built inside the truck itself.
Okay.
The machine itself has the capability to shred close to 1.5 metric tons of paper documents in just 1 hour.
Okay.
The same machine can shred hard drives, it can shred media tapes, USBs, etc. So, talk about USB. This is what we do. We get the shredding on site in front of the client's premises, right in front of them to witness.
Amazing. Amazing. Now, that obviously entails a lot of, I would say, investment upfront because that's a unique proposition.
Yes.
Right. Okay. Nice. Then, who, according to you, are your ideal clients? Okay. Because I'm sure there are many banks, many large organizations, many companies who are trading and who are, I would say, having international transactions or relationships who might want this particular facility.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, according to you, who are your ideal clients that you would want to, reach out to?
Great. So, if I summarize the overall market space, now every business that handles any sort of a sensitive document is a potential client to me. However, narrowing it down to a target market, or rather doing segmentation, I would say that because of regulations and because of a certain trust factor that they would like to maintain with their customers, some of the bigger industries that we potentially work with are banks and other financial institutes. There are audit firms, there are law firms. Now, there are laws and regulations governing around the healthcare sector. Now, talk about healthcare sector such as hospitals, clinics, pharmacies. These are all heavily regulated industries where they have to meet certain standards in order to be able to do business here. So they are potential clients for us. We also work with a lot of companies based in DIFC. Now, why DIFC? Is because DIFC follows international financial laws, and based on which it makes it mandatory for businesses to protect their confidential documents, to have a system in place. And any company based in DIFC would be a potential client for me. Likewise, companies based in the US and the Europe. Again, so because of certain international regulations, which makes it mandatory for American or European businesses who operate here to follow global laws and regulations.
Got it.
So American customers doing business here, and Europeans as well. Now, there's one particular regulation called the GDPR. It's called General Data Protection Regulation, which is an initiative by the European Union, which makes it mandatory for every business to protect the European community or the European citizens' personal information. So, likewise, the healthcare sector, Dubai Health Authority has their own regulations. The central bank have their own regulations on data protection, so on and so forth. So ADGM has their own regulations. The Dubai market has a different regulation. So there are so many regulations in place that businesses are bound by and have to comply with, and this becomes an important factor.
Okay, that's brilliant. Coming to think of it, you do have some existing high-profile clients which you're already working with.
Yes.
I don't know whether you have any non-disclosure agreement with them, but if you can, tell us or give us some testimony of, some of the work that you've already done for a high-profile client.
Yeah.
It just makes it easier for others to understand or, give you more business.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, like you said, we do have non-disclosure agreements because our business involves data security, which is a very sensitive
Sure.
business. For that reason, there are a lot of clients who I cannot name. However, talk about industries, the banking industry, we work with, say, the largest banks here.
Okay.
And these are regular retainer contracts that we have with them, where we service them on a regular frequency. I'll get to the the specifics on what services or proposition that we offer to our clients, or solutions that we offer to our clients. But in general, yes, banks, the biggest banks here we work with. A lot of government entities. We work with ministries.
Okay.
Ministries handle a lot of classified information which needs to be responsibly taken care of once they're redundant. And we work with a lot of ministries. Likewise, embassies, consulates and embassies, obviously with the kind of sensitive documents that they handle. Yes, we work with a lot of such. Likewise, hospitals and clinics as well. One name I can take is the Cleveland Hospital in clinics in Abu Dhabi. They're one of our bigger clients. Likewise, the Sheikh Khalifa Hospital in Abu Dhabi, Sheikh Khalifa Hospital in Umm Quwain. So these are some of the bigger clients. Al Zara Hospital is another client that we work with. Apart from that, there are a lot of other financial institutes in the IFC. There's a lot of manufacturing businesses based in Javza that we work with. So these are some of the clients that we work with at large. So talk about testimonial. There's one great story that I'd like to share here, which also emphasizes the fact that data security is taken very seriously in this part of the world as well, even though it's newer, but it is still taken very seriously. Now there's a local family group that we work with. They follow, until recently, they followed the just in case mentality, or rather a hoarding mentality that we say, so to speak. Their chairman says that no documents have to be destroyed whatsoever and have to be kept for infinite duration, because just in case there's a requirement or a need that arises, we should have the physical documents in place. So we had a great meeting with one of these businesses, and just to understand the scope of work, they took us to a warehouse where they stacked up close to 40 years of documents, confidential documents. These could be invoices, quotations, God knows what all. So one whole warehouse filled with documents. Not just that, what surprised me was they took me to the second warehouse, again full of documents, a third warehouse full of documents, and fourth. So they had 4 massive warehouses full of documents that they've been piling up for 40, 50 years maybe. They've never shredded, just because there's a direct instruction from the chairman that don't destroy anything. We need to keep it just in case. So we were able to discuss with them, convince them on the retention policy. There is a clear retention policy, duration to which they have to retain certain documents, and the rest of it they don't really need to keep. There are a lot of risks involved in storing so much paper. A lot of different risks, the most important being data security. Now, there could be a theft. You never know who gets a hands on these documents, and nobody might even know that sensitive documents are being accessed, or could lead to a huge data breach. The second risk is risk of fire. Now, imagine when you have warehouses full of documents, highly inflammable material. What if there's a spark or a fire that ignites? The whole warehouse blows up, and not just that, all the other warehouses adjacent to it just blows up, and that's devastating. There could be another risk as well. The bigger risk is revenue. Now, a warehouse could be converted, the same warehouse or scenario could be converted from a cost center to a revenue stream, because you're talking about real estate, right? These are warehouses that could otherwise be rented out. Instead, you're using these warehouses or this real estate to store redundant documents which don't really need to be retained. So we've had some extensive discussions with them, and finally we got the go-ahead from the chairman himself to clear out these warehouses. We ended up securely destroying on site again, close to 260 metric tons of paper from 4 warehouses. Completely cleared it out. They renovated the warehouses, and now it's rented out. So what was once a cost stream for them is now generating revenue, and everything is done securely, and they can be at peace of mind because now they've eliminated any possibility of a data breach or a risk. And so that's a great testimonial, or rather a success story that I'm so happy to share with you.
Yeah, that's great. In fact, as we speak and as you were narrating the story, it occurred to me that we do have a hoarding mentality at home as well.
Yes.
Okay, and as age passes by and people get wiser, you ask yourself, okay, I hoarded some documents, or I hoarded some video cassettes, or I hoarded some clothes, for example, and I would say, keeping myself in mind, I say, how many times in the last, X years have I actually gone and, used this particular thing that I've hoarded?
Yeah.
Okay. And if the answer comes back, you haven't you haven't gone there at all to pick up that item.
Yeah.
Okay. Then it's time for it to be thrown out.
Yes, absolutely.
So I think I would have thought that if nobody went to those four warehouses
Yeah.
in the last X number of years to even get one document out of there, that means chances are that for the next X number of years nobody's going to go there.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So nice.
But having said that, talk about personal documents. There's a lot of HNIs that we work with who for whom we destroy their bank statements. Now, passports. Now, let's say your passport is renewed. What happens with the old passport? It is still a classified information, a classified document that nobody would want to just simply throw away. So then what do you do else with it? You can't just cut them up with a scissor, because these are booklets you're talking about, and it becomes very impractical to cut them yourself. So what happens with it? Think about it. Your Emirates ID. Once your Emirates ID is renewed, Emirates ID has a wealth of information that, if it goes into the wrong hands, could be misused. Now, what happens with an expired Emirates ID when you get a new one? What happens with the old? Your bank statement. There's no need to explain how confidential that is. Now, you wouldn't want your bank statement to end up into somebody else's hands, somebody having access to your bank statement or your personal documents as such. So what do you do with it? Most often what we've noticed is people they would have a briefcase or a suitcase in their homes into which they would just simply dump all of these documents, which would sit there for years and years to come. Do you really need to keep it? Is a big question you need to ask. So we do work with a lot of HNIs for whom we've shredded passport copies, we've shredded Emirates IDs, we've shredded bank statements, and so many other confidential information for them. And it's a regular job that we do along with our B2C clients, B2B clients.
Oh, okay. That's nice insight, actually. So now it's a bit impractical for people to come to you for one Emirates ID. So what should one do if the Emirates ID has to be discarded?
Nobody calls us for just one Emirates ID.
Exactly. So what should one do? Like, if as an individual, what do you do?
Well, if it's just an Emirates ID, so there's still options that we offer to clients. Having said that, our USP still remains on-site shredding.
Okay.
So whatever said and done, whatever documents or whatever information you want to have destroyed, we will send our mobile shredding truck to their facility and have it all done in front of them, right at their premises. So does it justify the cost of shredding just one Emirates ID? Well, that depends. It depends on the perception of individuals. For somebody, an Emirates ID it's of utmost priority, and they would pay any price to have that destroyed. For somebody, it might be a little more cost effective to have a lot of other materials or documents destroyed along with their Emirates IDs. So priorities and perception varies from person to person, and we deal with it
But
accordingly.
if I have to do a DIY, what do I do?
Well, absolutely, you can.
Yeah.
I mean, see, I'm not saying that our solution is the only solution that's available out there.
Yeah.
So if you're talking about only an Emirates ID to be destroyed, the best way to do it is to just do it yourself. Take a scissor, cut it down into small pieces, but just ensure that the data strip that's inside the Emirates ID is also destroyed completely.
You mean the
So,
chip, right?
the chip,
You have to
yes.
cut the chip, actually.
Yes, you have to cut the chip completely.
Okay.
Likewise, even credit cards or debit cards, even though it's expired or deactivated, there is still a data strip that still holds data.
Yep.
So goes into the wrong hands, and again, it can be misused.
Of course.
So it is always recommended that you cut it completely,
Okay.
cut down the data strip so that everything is destroyed.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. And thank you for those insights, Rijo. How can somebody who's interested in your services get in touch with you?
Right.
Yeah.
So to brief you about what solution we offer to the market, um, it can widely be classified into three. So there's one called the one-time shredding solution, where somebody has huge volumes of documents, not necessarily huge volumes of documents, but documents that they want to destroy in one go. It's a one-time job. We would do a site survey, evaluate the quantity of documents and certain other factors that we take into consideration, and that is taken as one project, and that's fulfilled accordingly. Now, another service that we offer is called a scheduled shredding service. Now, these are for businesses or offices that print paper on a daily basis that they need to use for a specific purpose, but don't really need to retain it for a long period of time. Now, talk about banks. They would print a lot of documents on a daily basis on floor that they would need for a specific short-term purpose. At the end of that, it has to be destroyed still, even though the documents are not really retained. For such clients, we offer something called a scheduled shredding service, where we offer clients with locked security console. They are these wooden boxes that we place strategically in different risk-prone areas in the office, or rather specific areas where documents are being generated or documents are being used extensively. So we place these boxes strategically in different areas on the office floor, and these boxes are locked and secured with a small slit on it. So what that ideally does is that once an employee prints the paper, the purpose has been fulfilled. They don't really need to shred those documents themselves. They just have to slip it down into these consoles. All the consoles that we've supplied to one customer is locked and secured and can be opened with only one master key. And there's only one representative, authorized custodian from the client side who has access to these consoles in case they accidentally drop an important document which they want to retrieve. There are certain protocol that has to be followed. But having said that, the consoles hold all of these documents securely. Now, there is no equipment or a shredding machine inside this console. There is a misconception that what goes into these consoles get destroyed at the same time. To clarify, no. It's only a safe collection box. All these documents get stored in a secure nylon bag that is inside of it. And depending on certain factors like the consumption of paper, the quantity of paper that clients use, we schedule a certain frequent visit with the client, wherein our secure service officers, trained and vetted service officers, would drive the truck to the client's facility. And they would retrieve the blue nylon bags from all of these consoles, securely seal them, bring it down to the truck, and have them all destroyed in the truck right in front of the client at their premises. And this is done on a frequent basis. Now, just to add a security element to it, there's a very important document called the Certificate of Destruction that we offer to our clients after every single shredding process, which this document ensures that all the documents that were collected and are collected by our team has been destroyed completely on site, and this is an assurance from our end. This document is an audit-worthy document that they can use for their audit and also submit to for government regulations and for their compliance requirements. So this is another service that we offer called a scheduled shredding service. And the third is electronic media destruction service. Now, we destroy hard drives, media tapes, USBs, CDs, VHS cassettes, you name it, even servers, laptops, mobile phones. All these can be destroyed in the same equipment itself. So that's also another kind of service that we offer. There's a lot of banks that we work with, especially, who regularly destroy hard drives. So they have a certain period unto which they have to change their hardware. So each time they change their hardware, all those hard drives have to be completely destroyed. And that's a big business that we offer. Now, from a sustainability standpoint, now sustainability is something that every company strives to move towards. Everybody takes different initiatives. Even the governments around the world takes initiatives towards sustainability, and it has been one of the most important topics of discussion or initiatives in today's era. From a sustainability standpoint, we assure that 100% of all the documents that we collect and destroy for our clients end up being recycled. And um, in line with that, we issue something called a certificate of environmental stewardship that we offer to our clients to partner with us, because by working with us, they're already part of the sustainability program. Um, Indirectly, they pass on the documents to us, it is being destroyed, and their documents end up being recycled. So every year, our clients receive a certificate of environmental stewardship that states just um, uh, how much paper was destroyed and recycled, and also associate that with, say, the number of trees that were saved, the kilowatts of energy saved, and the gallons of water saved through this initiative. So that's something that we promote, we encourage our clients to go take very seriously as well.
Okay, Rijo. Now, thank you for that insight. What is the best way that companies or individuals can get in touch with you to actually avail your services?
Right. So if you handle confidential information or data of any sorts, which I'm sure you do, and you really don't know or you need help with creating a secure document security system in place, you need help with that, you know whom to reach. You can visit our website, which is www.endoshred.com. That's www.endoshred.com for more information. You have our contact details available in the website. Reach out to us. We will come visit you. We will sit with you and discuss, understand your requirements. And it's a consultation that we offer at free of cost.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Rijo, for your insights about your industry and your services that you provide. I'm sure this word is going to reach out to more and more people, and you get more business from this.
Thank you so much, Nilesh. Thank you so much for your time.
No worries. Thank you.